Hello world, we are from Team 2 and today we'll be speaking about web-based systems, types of windows and characteristics of device-based controls.
Hello, good morning to you all. I am given the topic of frames. So the frames in the web systems is just like a windowing capability. Frames in a window of a web system, there will be window is a multiple document. In each document pages, we can scroll, update, and view its content simultaneously. So multiple web screens which can be able to view parallelly or simultaneously, which can be scrolled, updated and viewed, which can help in for the user to view multiple items at the same time for comparison purpose between the items or such that. And so the guideline for using of frames is that only 2 to 3 frames should be in the web page. Otherwise, it will become complicated in viewing. And also, the size of the frame should be such that based on the importance of the information being shown. And so frames help the user in comparing things and working in parallel with the two items in a single page. So that's interesting. And the disadvantages I would say is that we can only use or only limit the frames, number of frames in a web page to 2 to 3, because maximum it will become or make the page little complicated and uneasy to view. Advantages of frames will be it reduces the user's time for coming back and backward or forward of the screens, making parallel visualization of the two frames in a single page, and also it tells about the navigation more easily. There will be no difficulty in navigating, but it also comes with the disadvantages such that in developing frames will be a little extra thing to be added, and also there will be no scrolling more than one scroll time, and they allow the users to get more opportunity to request, view and compare the multiple sources of information. And there will be an example of website in Geek for Geeks, where we can have multiple frames, where at the one end there will be advantages frame and another side will be having a disadvantages page, and we can run the queries of both the functions which can be seen at the same page but in a different frames. These are the importance of the frames, and the example will be shown here at this end. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ibrahim Kazim. My topic for UID is advantages and disadvantages of frames. Frames advantage mostly cluster around the ability to reduce the user's content comprehension mental load. These include the following advantages. They decrease the user's need to jump back and forth between screens, thereby reducing navigation-related cognitive overhead. They increase the user's opportunity to request, view, and compare multiple sources of information. They allow content pages to be developed independently of navigation pages. Now, following are the disadvantages of frames. Frames mostly cluster around navigational shortcomings, including the difference between a single web page and a page with the frames is not always obvious to the users. They suffer some of the shortcomings of title screens. Only a limited numbers can be displayed in the available screen area. They are perceived as a crowded and more visually complex because frame borders are flush against one another and they fill up the whole screen.
Hello, So imagine a situation where you're going to a supermarket. Either you're supposed to do eye contact or hand movement or speak to the vendor. How will you make him understand the point of view of what you want in the market, right? So similar situation comes in the web interface or even the computers as well. In this situation, what we use and what are the various types of objects or how do we point to a screen will be discussed in the topic of characteristics of device-based control. The primary characteristic of device-based control being to point an object, the next one being this, to select an object and making it focus of attention, to drag an object from one point to other, the third point being drawing freely on the screen, the fourth being to enter some data and manipulate the data, the fifth one being orientation of the object. So these are the characteristics of device-based controls. The next in the list is a trackball. So a trackball is a spherical object that is moving freely in all directions embedded in the socket. So what are the advantages? It establishes a connection between the hand movement and the pointer movement in terms of speed and pointing. The second advantage being it does not require extra disk space. The disadvantage being there is a constant need of eye-hand coordination and also the movement of plane is indirect.
Next component what we're going to see is the graphic tablet. So it is also called as a touch tablet. So graphic tablets are basically horizontal surfaces which are sensitive to heat, pressure or light. So this can be kept in a desk or it can be incorporated into the keyboard. To operate a graphic tablet, either you use touch or you use a light pen or a stylus like so the main advantage of the graphic tablet is that there's a direct relationship between the pointer movements and that of the touch movements. It means that the screen will mimic the tablet. So whatever you write on the screen, as in if you write Sahyadri on the screen, it will be shown on the computer monitor. So this is one of the main advantages. So the disadvantages being there's indirect control which causes coordination problems and it takes a lot of desk space, as you should keep it with the monitor so that you can connect the tablet to the monitor, and the accuracy for selecting small objects are also a bit of a problem. So the next component what we're going to see is the joystick. So it is a stick shaped or a bat shaped device which can be held by your fingers. The smaller ones can be held by your fingers and the larger ones need to be held by the whole hand. And the force joysticks are mainly respond to pressure and the movable ones mainly respond to your normal movements or direct movements. And joysticks can be used for your online gaming or your PS4s or PS3s, for selecting various items or for movements in the games. So the main advantage of the joystick is that there's a direct relationship between the pointer movements and that of the hand movements, and it does not obscure the vision of the screen, and there is no required desk space. And the disadvantage of this is hand-to-eye coordination is required, and to learn how to use this may take a bit of time and it can be fatiguing.
A touchscreen. A touchscreen is a special type of surface on any display device which takes input directly from the user. So if you want to scroll right, you can scroll right. If you want to scroll up, you can scroll up. The advantages and disadvantages of touchscreen are that a touchscreen would require physical movement of the user to move his hand away from the keyboard if it's a computer, which would make him do a lot of work. But it would take almost zero desk space. The touchscreen would work wonders on small devices, since the devices are small and not a lot of physical work is needed to move across the screen. The user can interact with the device by tapping or scrolling. Light pen is a computer input device which is used for pointing, selecting and drawing on the computer screen. A light pen works by detecting change in brightness in a cathode ray display, and once that has been detected, it sends the input to the computer. key disadvantage being that it only works with CRT displays and not with LCDs. So Hitachi and Toshiba tried to implement this. It did not go very well. The other disadvantage of using a light pen is that you have to physically move your hand all the way towards the point, whereas a mouse would require minimal movement. But a light pen would also take up very less desk space, whereas a mouse would take more desk space, including the mouse pad and other devices. A light pen is similar to a touch screen, but it has more greater accuracy. Now we'll be looking at a demo of the light pen.
So my topic is voice and mouse. Speech recognition was undertaken since the quarter of the century. We can take Google Mic as the live example. So I was saying Sahyadri College. We can see the Sahyadri College websites and related to Sahyadri College, all details will be displayed. So what are the advantages of this? This is simple and direct communication, and in contrast to this, the different disadvantages are it is difficult to recognize certain words, and user can dictate to the system 1 or 5 words per minute. When it is transcribed, it comes down to 25 words per minute. Mouse. It is a rectangular dome-based device control component which is used to manipulate the objects on the screen. It got 3 buttons: select, menu and adjust. Select, it is used to select a particular document in group of document displayed on the screen. Menu is to request and display the pop-up menus. Adjust, when you have a bigger window, you can use mouse pointer to resize the windows.
Hello, my name is Harshit and today we are going to discuss about keyboard. Keyboard is an input device that contains keys user press to enter data and instruction into a computer. There are many types of keyboard. The first type is standard keyboard, is also known as desktop keyboard. The standard keyboard looks like this. It's a desktop keyboard. It includes alphabetic characters and numerics on the side. And laptop keyboards. Laptop keyboards are the same type as a normal keyboard, except the fact that most of the laptop keyboards are condensed symbols into the fewer buttons. All the keys used in the desktop keyboard is merged into the laptop so that it can fix into the one space. And the connection type of the keyboard. There are only 2 types of connection is available. One is PS2 and another is USB. And another type of connection is wireless keyboards. Now we will discuss the proper device-based control. Device-based control, input device through which the people communicate to the system. The devices are trackball, joystick, graphic tablet, light pen, touch screen, voice, mouse and keyboard. Types of device control. There are 2 types, direct and indirect. Direct is like light pen, touch screen, they are all direct types. And indirect devices are mouse and keyboard. Uses of device-based control. To point the object on the screen, to select an object, to drag, to track or follow the moving object, to position an object, to enter or manipulate the information.
So my topic is selecting the proper device-based control. Control research was done to know which device was best suited for which task. Initially, for selecting the stationary targets that are on the screen, we can use direct pointing devices like touchscreen or light pen. For positioning the targets or accuracy, we can use indirect pointing devices like mouse, trackball or graphic tablets. In this case, we will not be using direct pointing devices because it blocks the user's view of the screen. So the positioning may not be accurate. So in order for positioning to be accurate, in order to increase the accuracy, we can after the positioning, we can use confirmation actions. Although it increases the accuracy, it decreases the speed of the actions. A research was done in 1991 by some scientists on mouse, trackballs and graphic tablets. And the result was that graphic tablet yielded best performance for pointing, mouse yielded best performance for dragging, and trackball was a poor performer for both dragging and pointing, and also trackball had high error rate while dragging. Now we'll talk about guidelines for selecting the proper device-based controls. For selecting the proper device for a task, we need some host characteristics. The first one is task characteristics. We have to see if that device is compatible with the task we have to do. For example, if we have to select an object or point or drag an object, we can use mouse or trackballs. But for typing an array of objects or string, we can use keyboards. The second one is user characteristics and preferences. Does the user feel comfortable using the device? This is the question that we have to ask while choosing the device. For example, for some user, it may be easy to remember the shortcuts and use keyboards, but for some other users, it may be easy to use the mouse. And the third one is environmental characteristics. Does the device fit into the environment, or the device need extra desk space? Some devices need extra desk spaces, but we can actually adjust them. The fourth one is hardware characteristics. Does the device itself have the capability to perform all the necessary tasks? For example, if we take joystick, it itself is quite variable in its movement capability. The next one is flexibility. In an application, we use multiple tasks and each user can use different tasks. So, a device should be flexible enough to perform different tasks. And the sixth one is minimizing eye and hand movements. When we use multiple devices, the shift between them should be infrequent as possible. For example, if we use keyboard and mouse together, we should not shift between them frequently. A general rule states that 80% of the times a user should use only single device. We'll talk about keyboard versus mouse. Typing in a mouse will take about 1.5 to 2 seconds to grasp each character or each object in the screen. But in that exact amount of time, a skilled typist can type 13 to 15 characters, but an average typist can type 4 to 6 characters. So keyboard is very fast compared to mouse.
So I am here to talk about pointer guidelines. So there are some rules that needs to be followed on how the pointer is presented on the screen. So first thing is that the pointer should be clearly visible at all the times. So second thing, it must contrast very well with the background. So imagine the background screen is black. So we cannot use the pointer of color black, because by doing so the user won't be knowing where the pointer is located. So always maintain the color of the pointer in such a way that it contrasts very well with the background, so the user knows where currently the pointer is located. Also the hotspots should be clearly visible. Also the shape of the pointer should clearly indicate its purpose. So what I mean is whenever imagine action is being performed, so it is better to change the shape of the pointer to a sand timer. So by that user will know so an action is performed. So generally it is a good user interface design. So also the animations of the pointer should be minimal and it should not distract the user. So we will be talking about types of windows. So there are two types of windows: primary window,
Secondary window.
So I will be talking about primary window. So primary window. So what is a primary window? So whenever we open an application, the first thing that displays on the screen is a primary window. So imagine if I open a MS Word, the first window that opens is a primary window. So we also call it as a main window or an application window. So what all components should be included in the primary window? So only the important information or the data that needs to be displayed should be displayed in a primary window. For example, here we have page overview. Those are the important components, right? So that should be displayed. Also, the most frequently used tools such as menu bar, toolbar, tools, it should be included in the primary window. Also, the data that is frequently being updated. For example, the status bar. So the status of an application keeps on changing as we perform new actions. So that should be displayed in the screen. So all those should be included in the primary window. Also, primary window will provide the context for the secondary window. For example, here we have save as option. So whenever we click on the save as option, a new window opens for adding the location of the file. So primary window acts as a channel for the secondary window. So these are the things that should be included. So what should be avoided? So all the unrelated information should be avoided from the primary window. Also, a particular function, splitting up of a particular function into two primary windows should also be avoided.
Secondary window. Secondary window is a window that always dependent on the primary window. Like secondary window, it shows some dialog boxes or a message alert. Unless we click those, choose something like cancel or OK, accept, it will not stay out of those screens. Like example, in secondary window, if you take MS Word, we will save some items like save as. It will direct us to the new location, not the particular one which already exists. And also it has some saving option like JPG format and documents and here model. Model is just same as I explained. Once it displays on the screen appears, we will not go for the other screen, like it will not interact with the primary window. Unless we accept OK or cancel, it will not stay out of the window. And next one, model-less. It is like it takes an interaction with the user, like some inputs, and it can interact with primary window. And cascading, it takes some offset value, like offset distance. It always needs to maintain some distance when more than 2 or 3 tabs that displays on the screen. And finally, it's unfolding. Unfolding in sense like if we have 2 or more tabs together, it will be unfold to the bottom or to the left with that particular symbol. And main thing in a primary window, sorry, in secondary window, it's supposed to be 263 dialog unit cross 263 dialog unit, and it should not exceed those things. Hi, my topic is a pop-up window. Pop-up window is like it will display on the top of the screen or in the screen, like I show some messages or something related to. We have to select OK, like comments or menu bar. Until we select those comments or menu, it will not go out of that window. It stays there itself. In sense like a pop-up means we all have experienced those pop-ups in our regular life. Like a mobile phone, it displays like messages or phone call. If we get phone call instance, it will display on the top. Okay. And moreover, like in websites also, we can enable those pop-ups. Like cookies, we have to allow or block those cookies. So before we have to go for settings and site settings, and we supposed to enable pop-ups. Guys, we are here in end of this video. I know you won't like these videos, but still, please like, subscribe, comment some good words. Okay, not extend to those words, and please not forget to hit that bell icon. Bye.